First of all, Chairman, I'd like to say that it's great for me to be here with the Labor Committee. When I entered the legislature in 2004, the Labor Committee was my first priority, and Speaker Roberts and Speaker Sheila honored that. And I had the opportunity to examine in depth a lot of issues that have implication for our economy, for our working class, and other ancillary populations that we serve. And I'm here today to testify on Assembly Bill 2162, which is a proposal to raise the minimum wage in New Jersey. In 1938, that is when, at the federal level, legislation was initially promulgated to set a ceiling or floor for the minimum wage. And in the United States, since 1938, the states and the federal government have addressed setting a ceiling and a floor for minimum wage. Now, right now in our state, there are approximately 129,000 people who earn the minimum wage or under. Approximately 29,000 of our residents, earn $7.25 an hour, and we have 104,000 residents in our state that earn under $7.25 an hour. Now, on average, someone earning minimum wages in New Jersey is bringing home approximately $290 per week, $15,000 a year. And we have enough data available to us to document that these workers are not necessarily the stereotypical minimum wage earner that people suspect. Because of the national recession that we've experienced for the past several years, there are many people who worked in middle-class wage jobs who, in order to help their families sustain themselves and survive, have taken on all kinds of jobs. And we have people who have re-entered the labor market, and they are taking $7.25 an hour jobs. As the service sector of the economy continues to expand, we find many of these workers in service-related industries. Subsequently, many of those jobs do not provide at the same time extensive amounts of benefits. So what a low-wage earning worker gets is pretty much what he or she has to work with. And many of these workers are heads of households, raising children, and trying to sustain themselves in a New Jersey economy. Depending upon where you live in this state, you will find families relegated to low-wage paying jobs who are having a great deal of difficulty keeping a roof over their heads. I guess because I have always had experience in human services delivery, I have been able to experience in the past couple of years social service agencies in this state who are bursting at the seams trying to provide a myriad of social supports to families who have seen their incomes plummet. Now, I know we have spent a great deal of time in the legislature in the last session and as we are getting underway with the 215th session. Last week, Governor Christie presented us with his budget, and he was proud to announce that because of some of the initiatives that had been endorsed in a bipartisan fashion over the past 2 years have resulted in putting New Jersey back on a trajectory. My conscience will not permit me to make certain that as we experience a New Jersey comeback, that these 129,000 workers in our state are not thought about. Now, We always hear, from the business side, and I am sensitive to the business side as well. And I think in the 214th legislature, and as we get underway with the 215th session, I continue to be supportive of efforts to help business in this state, to help it grow and to help it expand. But the reality is, elevating the minimum wage in New Jersey is not going to be the doom and gloom that is purported by some. Several weeks ago, Crane's Business Report did a lengthy examination of implications to businesses of all sizes and any type of deleterious effect raising the minimum wage could potentially have on them. Crane's, which is a respected business tool, went on record and determined that it does not have the disastrous effect. We will hear things like employers will diminish the number of hires that they do. There is data, documented data, disputing that. University of Massachusetts, University of California, University of North Carolina have all done analysis nationally on the implication for elevating. There is an entity, the American Economic Association, and they have joined with hundreds of economists across the country calling for raising the minimum wage. And they say, quote, "A higher minimum wage can significantly improve the lives of low-income workers and their families without the adverse effects that critics have claimed. For more research on effects of the minimum wage, we certainly can provide the members of the Labor Committee with that data and with members of the General Assembly." Another criticism has often been that the minimum wage would mostly affect teenagers and it would result in fewer jobs for teenagers. That has been proven not to be true. Raising the minimum wage will be bad for business. It will hurt our state's business community and force businesses to other states. This is also false. Employers will go out of business if they have to pay a higher minimum wage. Some of the industries in New Jersey and nationally who pretty much pay minimum wage earners are not going out of business. Many of these businesses are flourishing, and they are returning record profits to their shareholders. So they are not being put out of business. There currently are 18 states and the District of Columbia that are paying wages above the minimum wage. There are only 4 states in our country that have minimum wages below the federal minimum. We are a major player in the tri-state area, and the state of New York and the state of Connecticut are currently undergoing an examination of this very issue. I am not seeking to create any type of bipartisan theatrical movement in the State House in terms of a call for elevation of the minimum wage. I am seeking bipartisan inclusion and participation in embracing a bill that will lead to the 129,000 families that I identified being able to take home more than $290 a week. And the best way to accomplish it is something that I am willing to sit down and work with anyone. And I have expressed to Governor Christie that I realize fully for us to move forward in a bipartisan fashion to elevate the minimum wage, it will take his commitment, Senate President Sweeney's commitment, my own, and members of both of the houses to work collaboratively. This is not about politics. This is about families who are struggling to survive in this state. And with that, I rest my case, and I am willing to entertain any questions.
Thank you, Speaker. Well said, well spoken. Anyone on the committee at this time? Anyone? Really?
Thank you, Chairman.
Really? Thank you, Speaker.